Hundreds of thousands of Russian troops are believed to have been killed in the conflict as the army grapples with advances into key regions of Ukraine. Vladimir Putin has suffered yet another blow after it was declared that Russia's irreparable losses in the war with Ukraine had reached more than 100,000 people when the tyrant's battle plan collapsed. The eye-watering figure has been reported by Russian breaking news service Meduza, which cites the original report from Russian media project iStories, or Vazhnye Istorii. It says one of two sources of the above information works in the Russia's Federal Security Service (FSB), while the other is a former state security officer. Meduza wrote on Twitter, "Russia's irrecoverable losses in the war with Ukraine have just become known. According to an FSB source, that figure is 90,000. This includes troops who were killed, went missing, died from wounds, or were disabled and cannot return to military service." Earlier today, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry posted its latest update on the losses of Russian occupiers in Ukraine from the start of the war on February 24. It said there have so far been 63,380 eliminated personnel, with thousands of tanks, artillery and armored combat vehicles also destroyed in battle. The latest 90,000 losses estimate is close to figures recently quoted by both the Pentagon in Washington and the British Ministry of Defense, MOD. In August, the Pentagon estimated that between 70,000 and 80,000 Russian troops had been killed or critically wounded since the start of the war in Ukraine on February 24. Russia has remained relatively silent over its casualties since it began its invasion of Ukraine and has only reported this number on 3 occasions. Elsewhere, satellite imagery expert Benjamin Pittet has posted an image on Twitter that shows Russia has created a defense line in the Luhansk Oblast region in Ukraine, reminiscent of the Second World War. He said the defensive line consists of 2 separate rows of dragon teeth, followed by a trench likely aimed at stopping vehicles. Earlier this week, Putin was warned by a leading British army officer his crumbling Russian army is facing a decisive rout and edging closer to total collapse, with morale among troops now completely evaporated. Successes enjoyed by Ukraine have been compounded by Russian failures, with Putin's military leaving his troops horrendously under-equipped. Putin has also reportedly been making uninformed decisions at the top the Kremlin about the war with Ukraine, and speculation has been swirling he is becoming increasingly isolated in Moscow. General Sir Richard Shiref, who served as Deputy Supreme Allied Commander Europe for the alliance, told The Sun Online, "I think the scene is being set for a decisive rout of the Russian army in Ukraine. The scene is setting for a collapse of the Russian army. This could be an avalanche, and we are now seeing the cracks in the snow. The Ukrainians are creating more problems than the Russians are capable of solving. It's looking good."